Remarkable leaders from Greece like Alexander the Great and Pericles, and their philosophical and innovative ideas have motivated all of us and thousands of other intellectuals throughout history. Right from the vague ideas for culture, philosophy, and arts, the ancient Greeks are known to house the plethora of discoveries and inventions. Many of them were even futuristic, and they are still being used large and full in almost every institution. Today, we have enlisted the top 10 significant discoveries and inventions of the ancient Greeks. At number 10, watermill. The watermill was a revolutionary invention of the Greeks and has been used all over the globe for metal shaping, milling, and agricultural purposes. The earliest evidence of a water-driven wheel appears in the technical treatises Pneumatica and Perisuastica of the Greek engineer Philo of Byzantium. This immensely useful invention takes its origin from the earliest known parachora wheel, created way back in the 3rd century BC in Greece. Since its invention, the watermill has seen numerous adaptations, enabling it to be used to mill different raw materials. The first water wheels were horizontal and can be described as grindstones mounted on top of vertical shafts whose paddled lower ends dipped into a quick stream. But by the early 1st century, they became terribly insufficient and soon got replaced by the much advanced vertical watermill. Even the modern-day hydraulic turbine works in the same based on the same principles as the water wheel. Talk about futuristic ideas. Greeks are surely a notch above any other nation in the world. Number 9, money. The concept of money is undoubtedly one of the most significant discoveries in the history of mankind. The Lydians were using circular metal pieces even before the barter system, which was invented in ancient India. This credits the Greeks with the discovery first coin used in Athens. The Lydian lion coins were made of electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of silver and gold. The royal lion symbol stamped on the coin was a declaration of the value of the contents. Fast forwarding to the present day, money is the most important belonging of any person that comes after a person's body. Probably the Greeks had never thought that something they had devised centuries ago could skyrocket in its value so much and become one of the most powerful things in life. At number 8, cartography. Cartography is the study and technique of making maps. The ancient Greeks were the progenitors of cartography, and thus we know of the maps. The earliest known evidence of cartography points toward ancient Babylon. The Greeks took what they had at their disposal and brought cartography into a new light. Anaximander, one of the first pioneer cartographers to create a map of the globe, was even mentioned in Aristotle's work as a pupil of the physical school of thought propounded by Thales. He managed to include all inhabited areas of the world in his map, which appeared in tablet form and featured Ionia in the center. Furthermore, Anaximandros also made enormous contributions in the fields of geography, and his map of the world was indeed a marvelous achievement of that time. Nowadays, the cartography technique is now beyond 3 dimensions. Number 7, theater and music. Music played a key role in ancient Greek society, pretty much like today. Not only was music enjoyed in one's house, but it was also enjoyed in public events as well, from cultural events to sporting events and even during battles. So important was music to the identity of the Greeks that they considered it a gift from the god and attributed the invention of different instruments to specific gods. The lyre, more commonly known as the panpipes, was a stringed instrument most commonly played by shepherds. The earliest use of the instrument was in the Cycladic Islands in the 3rd millennium BCE, and representations of the instrument runs right through the history of Greek art. Now the panpipes are considered the ancestor of the modern-day flute. The catalog of Greek instruments also included percussion in the form of the tambourine, cymbals, and drums, other wind instruments such as the horns and trumpets, and a special stringed instrument called the kithara, which is considered the forerunner of the modern guitar. The ancient Greeks also developed theaters to portray qualities such as patriotism and homage to their holy gods, hospitality, and equality. The scale and range of Greek musical inventions demonstrate how intrinsic art was to the lives of the Greeks. Number 6, geometry. The credit for one of the oldest branches of mathematics goes to the Greeks. Its practical necessity demanded the use of diverse geometric techniques, way before any of these were registered in history. The Babylonians and the Egyptians were the first to use and incorporate many techniques, but they never worked out the axioms and rules governing geometry. They assumed the value of pi to be 3 and never challenged its accuracy. Then came the Greek geometry era that changed everything. Thales of Miletus, the father of geometry, proposed several axioms and rules that were truly based on reasoning in the 6th century BC. We all know the Pythagoras theorem, proposed by the Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras. The first book on geometry was by the great Greek mathematician Euclid in 300 BC. Number 5. The alarm clock. Most of our days begin with an alarm clock, and it too had its origins in ancient Greece. The world's first alarm clock was created in 200 BC by Ctesibius, 285 to 222 BC, who was a brilliant engineer far ahead of his time. The first alarm clocks were miles away from what we have now. Ctesibius fitted his water clock with a pointer on a dial to indicate the time, along with a detailed alarm system that involved pebbles dropping onto a gong or the blowing of a trumpet by forcing bell jars down into the water and taking the compact air through a beating reed at preset times. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato was the first one to possess a large water clock with an unspecified alarm signal similar to the sound of a water organ, which he used at night for signaling the commencement of his lectures at dawn. The modern-day clocks are based on the same principles as the water clock. Number 4. Philosophy. If there was anything the Greeks were better at than battle, it was thinking. The word philosophy is derived from the Greek words phile, meaning love, and sophia, meaning wisdom. Before the age of ancient Greece, the world did not see philosophy as we see it today. Unlike the Egyptians, Greeks approached philosophy from a different direction by developing it as a way of understanding the world around them without resorting to magic, myth, or religion. The Greek philosophy, based on reasoning and observation of the known world, played a central role in shaping the Western philosophical tradition. Philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates were so influential that their studies were used to teach subsequent ages of other Western cultures, including Romans. Number 3. Concept of democracy. The idea of every citizen having a say in government and equal opportunities constitutes the concept of democracy. The term democracy first emerged in ancient Greek philosophical thought in the city-state of Athens during classical antiquity. For this reason, Athens is regarded as the birthplace of democracy. The Athenian democracy took the form of direct democracy, and it had two distinct features: the random selection of ordinary citizens to existing government and administrative, and a legislative assembly consisting of all Athenian citizens. All eligible citizens were allowed to speak and vote in the assembly, which set the ordinances of the city-state. The transformation of aristocracy to an organized political system, where all members of the society have an equal share of political power, had a significant impact on future civilizations. Number 2. The Olympics. As we all know, the Olympics are more than just a discovery, they are an international phenomenon. The first record of the Olympic Games was on the plains of Olympia in ancient Greece, which dates back to 776 BC. The time frame clearly depicts the fact that sports had an important role in ancient Greece as a key stage in a child's education. When Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the International Olympic Committee, started the first modern Olympics in 1896, he was inspired by the ancient Olympics that was held in Greece. The tradition of holding the Olympics every 4 years also has its roots in the initial Olympics of ancient Greece. The game has certainly maintained the age-old tradition of happening every 4 years, but it has significantly increased its prestige and status. Along with traditional throwing competitions and running races, the Greeks also invented many new sports, out of which some of them include combinations of other events. Over the years, the Olympics has been hosted by different countries, flourishing more than just games, but a global movement on foreign relations and diplomacy. Finally, atop the list is medicine. The ancient world did not fare too well when it came to disease treatments. Back then, diseases were considered God's punishment to humans, and all possible remedies were in the middle of superstition. But the scenario flipped when Hippocrates of Kos started to collect data and conduct experiments to ascertain that disease was a natural process. The great ancient physician classical age was considered the most outstanding figure in the history of medicine. He was also referred to as the father of Western medicine for his enduring contributions to the field and was the founder of the Hippocratic School of Medicine. He also introduced the famous Hippocratic Oath, which medical doctors have to take mandatorily. Eventually, he revolutionized the practice of medicine, and his legacy was passed on to future generations. Well, there you have it. Which Greek invention amused you the most? Hit the comment section and let us know. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more historical videos. Until we meet with another video, Take care.